There is a word that I overuse, but it's so perfect. It's a word that best describes people as follows. It means someone who has or shows a great lack of intelligence, understanding, reasoning, wit, or an inability to learn, somebody who has no common sense. It may be innate, it may be assumed, it may be reactive, but the word is stupid. And if I could just get rid of stupidity, not stupid people, but stupidity, the world would be better because I'd be able to talk to people who weren't stupid. Thank you, Dennis Cosgrove. Thank you. And thank you, Van. Thank you. I know how to work this thing now. I know how to work it now. I don't even know where to start. But Uncle Lenny is ready to go on this Sunday night. Oh my God. Today we've got UN General Assembly. You should see this place. Mrs. L and I were tooling about it, perambulating and locomoting about the city. And we've got to run into all these overtime, all these cops from Homeland Security, every conceivable. Oh my God, they're all here to protect these people, these reprobates from around the world for reasons I shan't understand. Do you know that a lot of these stores, there was one, I think it was somebody told me Bergdorf Goodman or one of them, these folks will come in, women, and they will shop, and they will bring cash. I mean, they've got people walking around heavily armed, and they will go in the back and they have their own counting machines. I mean, they don't just. I don't know why you need a counting machine. Why don't you just hand them the bill? But anyway, but they do. Not checks, not credit cards, cash. And you see, they put it back into the machine and they take off. It's the most incredible thing in the world. But I'm going to tell you about this event we're going to talk about. Oh my God, I got tonight. Walls, Janet Jackson, Nate Silver, Agnes Varda. I got to tell you the scene we did this afternoon, which was so terrific. But then we're going to talk to you and your thoughts and comments. And immediately following this, stay tuned because at 8:15, Mrs. L is going to be doing her Not Rock'em Sock'em live stream, where she's going to be talking about why people are now reinvestigating the Menendez brothers for reasons that, well, she'll make very clear to you. But first, dear friends, before we begin, this important word from our sponsor. There's a revolution happening right now above our heads. It's about to make silver more precious than ever. The sun's power is taking over the world. It's growing so fast, it'll be the biggest source of electricity by the 2030s. Solar. Listen carefully. Here's the kicker. Every single solar panel needs silver to work. We're talking about a silver paste web in every panel, turning sunlight into power. Smart investors are already making their move, and that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. With a silver IRA, you can surf this incredible wave of growth. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House or what Wall Street does, because solar power is unstoppable, and silver is its secret weapon. As the world goes green, your retirement could be going sterling silver. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers in 2024. Visit LionelNationGold.com. You may get up to 10 free brand new 1-ounce silver Trump coins. I love the sound of that. Or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualifying IRA. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Today, my friends, Mrs. L, my beloved, my today to see something at this place called the Paris Theater. Paris Theater is an absolute. Oh my God! It's just this wonderful. Well, it's been around since 1948. It is, I think, the last single screened theater in New York. And it's wonderful art house stuff and great, just these wonderful, wonderful movies. And it's one of the great, so terrific. It's one of the best things about New York. I got to tell you something. A lot of people have a lot of good cinema towns, but when you really find yourself in the position of doing what we do and being able to see this incredible sense of, I don't know what the word is, this what's the word? This incredible composite. Anyway, make a long story short. So we're watching this thing, and there's a great part of the French New Wave, Agnes Varda, or Agnes, or Agnes, or Anya. It has a variety of different ways. Varda. She was the most important. Well, this is a woman who, by the way, what a life. She was a director for 65 years. 65. That beats virtually everybody. And it was part of the French New Wave school, and it was just wonderful. So to make a long story short, there is today we saw this great piece. It was called "One Sings, the Other Doesn't." It was from 1977, and we had after, and it's really, I mean, it is wild to see. Okay, it is wild to see. By the way, Eric says 8 years of trying to stop one man may be destroyed by the diddler. We live in a simulation. Indeed. We'll get to that in a moment, my friend. But I want to tell you this because there's a lesson to be learned from this. So we're watching this movie, and after we're done, it's really good. And they had the woman, I think, from Slate, Teresa Skinner, thank you. From Slate magazine, she's a theater critic. And then there was a woman who wrote a book about Agnes Varda, or Agnes Varda. And the movie has a lot to do with feminine rights and abortion. Okay, fine. So anyway, during the course of this, all right, here's the big payoff. We're sitting there, and they're passing around the microphone. It's a kind of nobody's asking any questions, even remotely resembling, lucidity. But they said, well, this is about abortion. And when the Supreme Court came out in the Dobs case, I cried. And I wanted, I can't, nobody would have wanted to hear from me, but I want to stand up and say, that's not what happened. Anyway, it's this idea that somehow Trump and the conservatives and they were against this abortion case. The woman from Slate, whose name I forget, said correctly, well, technically speaking, I would have preferred it be done under this theory versus privacy. I wanted to shoot. I told Mrs. Al, yes, finally, somebody understands it. Because if there's one thing I want you to remember when you go out into the world and people will talk to you about what the mean, bad, terrible things that Trump and the Republicans want to do, is you've got to tell them that Dobbs, the case which overruled Casey, which overruled Roe, had to be reversed because the case didn't make any sense. We're going to get to Diddy in a moment, but I want to tell you about this. It's very, very important because sometimes, when I write a topic and things change, and I want you to be smart. I want you to learn this one. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that there's a big case coming up, and it deals with the state of New York or California that passed legislation granting or mandating, you ready for this? Reparations. And you and I think reparations are the most stupid thing anybody's ever heard. Reparations. Crazy. Nonsense. What are you talking about? Reparations. Crazy. Okay. So we want to hear the result. We want the case to be struck down. We want the reparations statute to be reversed, struck down, abrogated, whatever you want to call it, because of whatever reason. And we find out, hey, guess what? We won. The Supreme Court struck down the statute. But we find out that the Supreme Court struck it down because they said it's unfair. And we said, what? It's unfair. We said, whoa, 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 whoa. Where did you get that from? That's not a reason. There's something in the Constitution about being unfair. Are you sure he said unfair? Yeah, not equal protection. No, unfair. We, because we are inconsistent, we are intellectually consistent, we would say that's wrong. Because you can't make something up. You can't make something up. I am, for the most part, I think, and I have to say this, against the death penalty, because any government that would allow Kamala anywhere near the White House, I don't think should be involved in trying to take somebody's life. That simple. I don't want the government making the life decision. Okay, let's say there's a case. Death penalty is absolutely constitutional because, remember, under the Fifth Amendment, it says you cannot deprive somebody of life, liberty, and property without due process. So therefore, life, it even anticipates death. There it is. But let's assume that, I don't know, somehow it takes a case, and they say that we find the death penalty to be applied unconstitutionally because it's, again, unfair or wrong. No, you can't make up a reason to either uphold or strike something down merely because we like the decision. Let me say that again. I am pro-choice, meaning I don't believe a woman should go to prison for having an abortion. Because if abortion is illegal, if it's not, that means that you just committed either murder, and you, the mother, are committed a felony, and the doctor and the nurse and everybody else, and you all are going to prison. No, it's one of these things that doesn't make it is different. It is different. Life is different. I know who people the other day I was saying, hey, did you hear what happened? What? You're not going to believe this. What happened? Iran sent a bunch of fake walkie-talkies to Israel and they blew up. I go, that's terrible. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I got it backwards. Israel sent it to Iran. Oh, that's okay. See what I mean? Life is like that. It doesn't make any sense. You're not able to put it on a piece of paper mathematically, but you're able sometimes to be able to say, that doesn't make any sense. Life does not make any sense. That does not make any sense. That's the way it goes. So I just want to say this to you. I just want to tell you this. You are going to be heard. Somebody's going to be talking about this thing about Trump and reproductive rights. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere, is anyone in any way talking anything or doing anything in reference to, and I'm sorry, the end of abortion. If you want to have it in your state, go ahead. If you don't want to have it in your state, go ahead. Don't look at me. Talk to your state. I don't understand it. Now, if you want to do a federal legislation, fine. A federal statute, fine. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't. You understand this? It's one of those things that I cannot help you, my friend. If you meet these people, okay? Understand this? Now, this is the thing which we have to explain next. And this is critical. And I think Ken Diazio said it best. Thank you, Kenny. There is a fellow by the name of Tim Walls, who, ladies and gentlemen, says it best, and I want you to commit this to memory. Don't take it from me. Take it from Tampon Tim himself.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
Wait, say that again, Timmy.
We can't afford.
Say it again.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
One more time.
We can't afford.
We can't afford.
We can't afford
4 more years.
4 more years of this.
Of Biden and whatever. You know what? Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me, completely and totally makes sense to me. You know who else is miraculous? John Fetterman. Remember when he was like, I'm not trying to, no. I'm not trying to mock him. He had some kind of a stroke or something. He was aphasic. He was absolutely, I thought this was incredible. You know, the dress, the dress code, notwithstanding. But anyway, but recently, have you heard him? He makes so much sense. Well, he sounds better. Listen to this.
A big issue, another big issue, I should say, in your state. The Harris,
This is
as
this.
you know,
This is this Welker. This is this whatever her name is. Watch his face. Ready for this? Watch him shake his face.
Well, let me talk about a big issue, another big issue, I should say, in your state, the issue of fracking. I know you've talked about this quite a bit. Vice President Harris, as you know, once supported a ban on fracking when she was running for president in 2020. She even sued the Obama administration to prevent fracking off California's coast.
Now remember, this is very good. This is an important case for the people of Pennsylvania, a state which he is ostensibly the senator of.
Now she says she will not ban the practice as president. Why should voters trust that that is really what the vice president believes?
It's so strange why we just keep talking about fracking.
Well, one of the reasons why is because it happens to be one of the most critical issues, especially in your, and by the way, I don't know what kind of a bombed out basement shelter he's in. I like the whole, distress look, but this is a bit much. Speaking of distress, how do you like the hoodie? But I digress. It's an important issue. And he says, who cares about it? No, it's a big deal.
Now, back in 2020, I said that that might be an issue, but it's not going to be a defining issue.
Now, maybe not a defining issue. Thank you very much. Maybe not a defining issue, but still nonetheless critical.
And now in 2024, we're still trying to talk about fracking. And now,
well, why don't you care about this? You're a senator. Fracking is an important issue. Do you think it's not important?
The other side, they're talking about eating cats.
It's happening in Springfield, Ohio. Maybe you haven't heard about this. Maybe you don't think eating cats. Maybe you think that felicide or ailurophagia is somehow a problem. I kind of do, especially when people are saying we're being overrun by Haitians, not just eating cats and pets, but who can't drive and who basically represent, somebody said 5% of all Haitians are in Springfield, Ohio. Words to that effect. Don't hold me to it.
Geese and dogs and saying absurd things and talking about how if Trump doesn't win, he said that, you have to blame the Jews on that. And just.
Do you remember blame the Jews? Do you remember the context of this? He's taking his sentence. He said did you hear it? Did you hear about blaming the Jews? Did you hear about why? He's talking about how important these issues are and that he needs it. And if they don't come on and support him, this could affect things drastically. That's kind of what he said. But that's not what Fetterman said.
Absurd things, like having a serious policy conversation when the other side is just absolutely on fire. And here's where we are. And here we are also that it's going to be very close in Pennsylvania and it's not going to be defined by fracking.
Well, we are talking about it because, of course, it supported 120,000 jobs back in 2022. Yeah. Let me read you some of what you have said about fracking. In 2016, you called it a stain on Pennsylvania. In 2018, you said you don't support fracking at all, but then in 2022, you said you absolutely support fracking.
Don't you love this? I am against fracking in all of its manifestations. I don't give a frack what it is. I'm against fracking. And again, I'm for fracking. What? I changed my mind.
Senator, what exactly do you like about fracking now?
It's strange for somewhat weird gotcha, kind of taking quotes out of context.
There's nothing out of context, Mr. Fetterman.
And, here I am now. I'm a United States Senator, and I won by 5 points, a record margin back in 22.
5 points.
And again, it might be an issue in fracking.
Against Dr. Oz.
And I fully support fracking. So does the Vice President Harris. And now if you want to have a serious conversation about policy, then I would challenge Trump and Vance to have one other than talking about eating pets.
See, now.
And we'll have plenty of questions for Senator Lindsey Graham. There's no doubt about that.
By the way, she also has that the four eye, that what do you call that eye thing? What do you call that with the Japanese what's it called? Three walls or Japanese eyes. Was it three walls? Three there. It's called sanpaku eyes. It's a Japanese term that refers to the appearance of more of the white part of the eye or sclera above or below the iris. The term literally translates to three whites because of the whites of the eyes take up three of the four segments of the eye. Sanpaku. It indicates a mental imbalance in people such as murderers, according to the superstition. I should say. It indicates a mental imbalance in people such as murderers, psychotics, and those who are prone to rage. It is believed that those people attract violence and accidents. They're also an indicator of fate. This superstition gained popularity in the West in the 1960s after Japanese author George Osawa began predicting the deaths of Americans based on their eyes. So, ladies and gentlemen, and by the way, there's yin sanpaku, when the whites of the eyes show underneath, and yang sanpaku, when the whites of the eyes show above the iris. Now, did you know that? Aren't you glad I told you that? I think you did. I think you are. Okay, now in a segment called, I don't know where the hell to put this in, I've got to tell you the following. And let me explain this to you. Number one, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is my, I am, I don't want to say in love with God, no, but I am mesmerized by a WNBA player and this Angel Reese, these thugs, absolute thugs. Caitlin Clark has changed the face of the WNBA. For me, first of all, I don't care about the NBA, but the WNBA, watch this. Look at this. There's no sound here for some particular reason. I don't know why, but anyway, let's try it one more time. Just watch the grace. Look at this. Watch this. Here we go. And we go. There we go. I would go see Caitlin Clark in the thing. I just because the abuse she gets, and she is absolutely destroying this and this angel, whatever, faking. In any event. Now, before we get down to brass tacks, let me give you this one. Ready for this? This is the story which says it all. If I said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give me, I'm going to show you one reason to vote for Donald Trump. One reason. We didn't have this before Donald Trump, but we've got it after Donald Trump when these people are involved. What am I talking about? Let me say this again to you. Let me make sure you get this straight so you understand. If you want this, if you like what I'm about to show you, then you vote for Kamala. If you don't, if this scares the hell out of you, you vote for Donald Trump. What is it?
Something weird about conservatives.
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
Reminds me of Insane Clown Posse. Notice I say posse. Did you notice that one? Did you notice that one? I think you did, my friends. Okay. A couple of things. Let's go down. Let's look down the list here. George Keane says, call me crazy, but possible Fetterman clone. You are crazy, and you're probably right. Mr. L, where Matt Drudge? Has site been compromised? Compromised? It's been completely taken over by, I don't know who, but I wonder if the guy's even alive. Freedom says, whoever wins, hopefully Trump needs to fix Social Security once and for all, like me. No more chump change increases, or I may never vote again. Sick of them lying, saying they will fix it. Absolutely. George Keane says, to freedom, DJT put in power because great money workout pro. Okay, I like that. I like that. It's kind of a Morse code. Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn supposedly says it's almost 7:30. I told you to take the garbage out 3 hours ago. Very funny. Very funny. Where have you been? Freedom says, I did fracking for 40 years. It does contaminate drinking water or destroy farmland. And most of all, it never produced earthquakes. It's pure nonsense. Very good. Well, you know what really contaminates well water, whatever? Meat production, pork processing, how it affects the aqua. I don't want to get into that one, my friends. But what I'm going to say is all I want is consistency. Now let's get back to prime time, shall we? And let's get back into what we're talking about. I want to tell you again, my friends, how important it is for you to pay very good attention, close attention to what is happening on a couple of occasions. Number one, Janet Jackson. We'll get back to Diddy in a moment. Janet Jackson came out for some particular reason and said something to the effect that she didn't know or didn't think that Kamala was black, or words to that effect. George says, friendly reminder to create the Lionel telegram. Okay, very good. She said something to the effect of, I don't know if she was black or whatever it is. Anyway, she came on and changed her mind. Nate Silver also being asked to back off, back down, and back up regarding his thoughts as to the president winning or doing better. You see what's happening? The corruption. These people own everything. I did 2 videos that will drop at 9 p.m. on the Lionel Nation channel and the Lionel Legal channel. Are you subscribed to Lionel Legal? Have you? Oh, well, this thing's going nuts. And I bring up to you 2 things. Diddy and the October surprise. Let me explain to you the way Diddy works, shall we? Years ago, when I was in Florida, we always had, well, we had like orange trees, and everybody had orange. There's orange trees everywhere. We were like where I grew up. It was originally orange groves and all this. Anyway, so we had oranges everywhere. And with that come rats, fruit rats. They love oranges. Forget peanut butter and all that stuff. You understand this? It's one of these things that's the most important thing in the world. And where people came up with this notion of peanut butter, I have no idea. You get a rat trap, you just do oranges and they go crazy. Okay? All right, fine. Well, one day when I was a kid, these guys would come, these rodent killers and the like, would explain to me what they were trying to do. And one of the things they tried to do was very interesting, was they said, I found this interesting. They said, and there's one particular, they had some, they had like glue traps, and those are okay. And there were other things as well. But there's one particular, this one poison made it was terrible. Made sometimes their ass, it worked like an internal. It was horrible to watch. They would kind of breathe and pant, but the one that I liked, if there is such a thing, was the one that was slow acting. And what it did was, the rats would kind of like brush up against or come into contact with this particular poison, and then the rat would go back into the nest. And when it went back into the nest, it would contaminate, and it would find itself, interestingly enough, in this particular case, it would find itself the distributor of the poison, of the rodenticide, to other rats who would come and clean and lick and preen and groom and all that stuff. So what happens is you have the rat and you don't get him yet, but you send him back into the nest to allure others, to say, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Look at me. Come on, let's groom. And when they would groom and preen and lick, then they would ingest the poison, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, here's the interesting part. For the longest time, you've got these people, and I don't know who in the hell they are. They're the people who run the show. Let me give you an example. The people who said Eric Adams is going to come in and be the mayor of New York. He's an idiot. He might be a little smarter than Kamala, because she doesn't know what she's. That's another story. I was watching Eric Weinstein talking about. He goes, "Oh, she's not an idiot." Wrong, Eric. She's an idiot. She's an idiot. But to make a long story short, in New York we have the mayor, the police commissioner, the deputy commissioner, his twin brother, and the other brother, and the education person who's living with this one, 2 retired FDNY, plus the new commissioner. It is a rat's nest. A rat's nest of I've never seen anything like it. It is why? And you can come up with it. Well, maybe they waited. Maybe they sent Eric Adams in. He was going to run against Curtis Sliwa, who, by the way, love him to death, but put on some fake, phony, pathetic attempt at he was talking about feral cats, and I don't know what the hell he was talking about. It was like he threw it. He said they told him, hey, look, Curtis, go in and pretend you're going to win, but we didn't really want you to win, okay? Okay, buddy? Just going to be like a job boy. Put on an act, bring a little heat, and then let Eric win. And he did. He was a jerk. Anyway, so that's over there. So I'm wondering, why? I don't know. I can guess. It's almost like they want him they put him in, he lets all the corruption. They feel like, are we okay? Can we do this? Yeah. To show you how bad it was, the police commissioner, I think his brother, they have this, when you ever see people like young toughs, they take pictures and they get that, I don't want to say thug, but they kind of like that tough. There's no smile. It's a thuggish kind of angry look, that pissed off kind of that's what they look like. That's what they look like. And this is the police commissioner. And his brother would go to various, restaurants, allegedly, nightclubs. Like, oh, you got problem with noise? Oh, you got problem with maybe losing your license because you sold booze to an underage kid? Oh, you got problem? We'll take care of that. It's like, this is like organized crime stuff from the 30s. Freedom says, okay, you already said that. Sorry about that. Freedom did. George Keene says, friendly reminder. Here we go. George said, my previous statement was trying to say Donald J. Trump is sui generis, indeed, with his money, acumen, and having been through bankruptcy, that should be applied to USG restructuring. By the way, he wasn't in the bankruptcy. Businesses were in bankruptcy. Businesses. Do you know how many times Google went bankrupt? Remember Google Glass and others? Bankruptcy is reorganization and is preferred in many respects by the courts. Five Below says, at Five Below, you'll find everything you need to level up your style, tech, and even your home, from trendy trees and stylish accessories to awesome headphones and the latest games. Stop by today. Thank you so much, Five Below. And George says, bad timing with Sliwa and feline. Yeah, 2 feral cats. They need feral cats well, maybe they don't. Or maybe they do. Maybe they don't. No, feral cats in Springfield, they'll be snatched by these people. Okay. Here are the names that I want you to understand. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, when he was a young man. Look at his connection. It's a veritable who's who. Look at this. Justin Bieber today. Did you hear this story? How about that Caitlin Clark, huh? Just do a YouTube, Caitlin Clark. She's unbelievable. She's unbelievable. Here we go. Look at this one. You ready for this? Oh, I love this one. Usher deleted his entire X history, including all posts, reports, media replies, after his old video saying he got to witness wild things while he was living with P. Diddy went viral. Did you know this one? With Diddy down, this is according to the Times of India. The Times of India. With Diddy going down, several pop stars are now at stake with their previous involvement with Diddy. Reports claim Justin Bieber was also a victim of Diddy's sexual assault. An ex-user shared a video in question in which a relatively young Justin appears alongside the rapper as the two speak about Justin not staying in touch with him. The user wrote in his post a video of Diddy having 15-year-old Justin Bieber stuttering when he asked why he didn't hang out no more. Amid this raging controversy, according to the Times of India, Usher's old video, where he was saying that he witnessed a series of very curious things while living with Diddy at the age of 14, went viral. Usher, who is now 45, resided with Sean Diddy Combs, currently 54, in the spring of 1994 after L.A. Reid reportedly thought it would give him a glimpse into See the Lifestyle. Pink also deleted all her ex posts, though some ex posts claim that both Pink and Usher deleted theirs. I mean, this goes on, and it's out of control. This is Usher deleting. You've got, let me see, look, this blows my mind. Now, with this comes the following. And this is the part which is the most important. You got to ask yourself, why was this allowed to happen? Tiffany Henyard for NYC Police Commission. I love Tiffany. Super mayor. She's still out. Diddy's in the Hooskow. She's still there. Caitlin received 70% flagrant fouls in the WNBA. You're right about that. Oh, for you to make me care about the WNBA, for the love of God, I don't give a damn about that. But I'm telling you, I like people who come. Remember Spud Webb? He won the dunking contest. What is he, like 5'6"? And he won the dunking contest? That's my guy. When you've got people like Barack Obama standing next to Diddy, do you understand the level of intel that this guy has? There's a certain person whose name begins with the 5th letter of the alphabet. We're going to call him that. When I go like that, that's what I'm talking about. Because to show you how strange things are, one day when I was discussing this person and perhaps what might have been his fate, I got this thing that says, we're very concerned about your particular mental health. And if it's like these algorithms don't say, did you hear what I said? I'm not talking about me. Anyway, so I got to talk in code. You think you're bad. Sparky couldn't write the word good. He had to write doog. They wouldn't let him write good. George says, hate to say Caitlin's situation is 100% racial. Well, she's phenomenal. She reminds me of Pete Maravich. Remember Pistol Pete? She's incredible. Incredible. Now, going back to what I was saying. With this guy, numero 5, They have access to everybody in the world. They have access to more people you can imagine. They can say, Mr. President, yes, I want you to talk to somebody. I've got somebody who used to be with DNI, somebody with CIA, somebody with FBI, somebody with the. You have the best access around. You have everything. You have the best. You have people saying, oh, no, don't go there. Same thing with Prince Andrew. No, don't go there. No, come here, bring back. No, stay, do not go there. Ladies and gentlemen, Lionel Clothing Company says, when you step into a world of style and unmatched craftsmanship, you're stepping into Lionel Clothing Company. Stop by today for a brand new style. This is one of my favorite pictures. I think it was from the Instagram or something that somebody did for me. Thank you. It's very good. That kills me. But anyway, thank you. Let me say it again. Oprah. How many of you believe Oprah is a billionaire? I'm going to keep doing this again. You believe that Trump's a billionaire? Yeah. Tim Cook? Probably. Yeah. Elon? Oh, yeah. Oprah? From what? Maybe people say, well, maybe Taylor Swift. Maybe. Okay. Let me tell you something. You look at maybe because you can see something. What did Oprah do? I don't know. The 80s. I don't know. I don't get it. If it doesn't make any sense to you, there's something wrong with it. I don't even think Mick Jagger's a billionaire. Mick Jagger. By the way, remember these people make their money in touring, not in. That's why Clapton has to keep touring. In any event. They don't want you to find out eventually that we made these people up. Who did? We did. You stick with us. Sell your soul to us. We'll take care of you. For example, George Clooney. George Clooney, you're our B. Rhymes with which. You're going to do what we say. We're going to take care of you. We'll run cover. We gave you Amal, woman who fears autocorrect. That's A-M-A-L. Amal Clooney, who, by the way, is a big fan of the ICC and the ICJ and believes that Israel is committing war crimes and genocide. How's that working out for you? You ever hear about that? Nope. Huh. How's that working? We're in charge of everything. It doesn't come up. Yeah, but don't you think somebody from the... No, but don't you think it's important that George Clooney's wife? Because no. How do you think the Jewish lobby, not the Jewish lobby, but the Israeli lobby is going to do about that? It doesn't come up. How did that work out? Can you imagine if maybe, let's say Eric Trump, let's say Lara Trump was a lawyer for the ICC or ICJ and believed that Israel was committing genocide? Are you kidding me? They'd be all over him. They don't mention him because they own him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ken Diazio says Hollywood's Weinsteinian entertainment ditties, politicians, who controls the sports. Wow. It's tough getting through this, by the way, but then you're right about that. Look what they did to Weinstein. Oh, this is the story. See, in my movie, you got to understand something. In my movie, I want to do this movie. And when I say that, it's a thought experiment, but whatever it is. And in my movie, I have this guy, played by me, an old timer, who sits down with his young buck and says, let me explain something to you. First thing you got to know about is George Keane. Your Amal joke is utterly epic. Keep it up. You're one of the few people who understand it. Thank you very much. Because one time I misspelled Amal came out. Anyway, so, and I explained, you said, let me explain to you a couple of things here. Right now, there's a guy, I want you to pay attention. Is Junior on? Have you heard anything about Junior on Broadway yet? I know he's in previews, right? Pay attention to Robert Downey Jr. on Broadway compared to George Clooney on Broadway. Look who comes out the better one. The president of Ukraine is going to visit Penzi. Oh my God. This guy, you got to hand it to him. You got to hand it to him. And the good news about it is that nobody cares about Ukraine. They don't understand it. They made a deal. They with, I don't think they did Downey. I don't think so. But they made a deal with Clooney. And Clooney wants to be the biggest name on Broadway. Because he's doing Good Night and Good Luck or whatever the hell it was. I have something coming. Good Night and Good Luck, right? Coming up? Watch what this is. So I'm going to say, now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him the biggest thing on Broadway. Mark Wilson says Oprah lost a shipload of money when she produced The Color Purple on Broadway. It was excruciating to watch. Remember, by the way, Mark, Spider-Man with Bono? Remember that guy that fell out? Remember they fell? This guy died or broke his neck or something happened. That was the worst. George King says the Amal joke is from the... Okay, thank you very much. You don't want to sell it too obviously. We kind of get it. But anyway, so I'm going to sit there. I'm going to say, now watch what we do here. You see that guy? This guy Clooney. He's in the back nine. He's nothing. He's nothing. Nothing. But we're going to promise him. He's going to be the toast of Broadway. Watch what happens. Mark my word. A tour de force. Why? We own Broadway. We own everything. The entertainment industry, this is the feeder system. This is the engine room of what we do. This is what we do. This is the most important thing in the world. You understand what I'm saying? It's the most important thing in the world. And we make or break or create people. Ask Tom Hanks. Ask him. Now, Tom Hanks is good. We're going to create the illusion. Julia Roberts. Look at these hacks. Bryan Cranston, Ben Stiller. We will create. Believe me, they will always be working. Guaranteed. And the moment we don't like you, you don't work for us because we own Hollywood. We've owned Hollywood. And who are we? Doesn't matter who we are. We don't have a name. I don't have a name. I don't have a company. I don't have a card. I don't have a parking lot. I don't get paid. I get paid from something. Doesn't really matter. I'm in charge of something which is, I'm maybe the shadow government. And this is what Trump needs. He needs me in his division. Kind of like a Lee Atwater meets Donald Segretti meets Roger Stone meets Lamont Cranston, whatever it is. We run this show. And there's two things, kid, we got to understand. Two biggest money makers in the world. Human trafficking and blackmail. Blackmail is the most important thing in the world. I got a friend of mine one time who said, well, I don't want to gossip. I said, excuse me, what'd you say? I said, you don't gossip, but you know gossip. What's the difference between gossip and news? That's the old joke. What's the difference between, where did I hear this? Difference between, Bobby Heenan told me this. A difference between a taxi driver and a limo driver is a suit. That's it. Think about that. Let me explain to you how this thing kind of works. This is the most important thing. Information. As I was saying, there was a young person who was giving advice. And I said, make sure you listen to everything. Don't speak, you listen. Make sure you listen. And by the way, make sure you stay tuned. 8:15, Mrs. L's coming up at Lynn's Warriors. All right? Don't make me come looking for you. You don't want to see me at your door. You don't. It's not pretty. I want you to find out who's stooping whom. I want you to find out who's the drunk, who's the daughter, who's stealing the money. Don't you say anything, but you understand. And the difference between news and gossip is simply this. News is this, gossip is this. And gossip is more important than news. Gossip is more important than news. In the world, there is the dark web, the information dark web, as Weinstein talks about, but then there's another group. Then there are the blinds. There are other sources, places where people go to get the inside skinny, and it will blow your mind. If I told you, and it's not, how do I say this? A lot of it is not able to be. Well, let me tell you something. If I told you stories about things like Bob Hope, things about the Diddy thing, you don't even know what's happening. They you don't know. You don't know. You see, the difference between that guy, the guy I'm talking about, you see, he had an apartment, and people would go and they have dinner party, and it was legit. And that guy would maybe go to Harvard, and he would endow a chair. And that guy would maybe put together. Remember Werner Erhard? Remember TM? Not TM. Est. It was Werner Erhard. They had a bet. It was Leonard Susskind and Stephen Hawking. He was a real physics nerd, and he would promote things. Well, this guy would actually do this. Diddy never did this. Diddy did nothing philanthropic. Remember, honey, when his kids, he got him a Maybach, kids dripping in Chanel. We don't know, but I'll bet you. Well, let me rephrase it. I wouldn't be surprised if none of his kids went to school. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying, if you told me that none of the Kardashians ever went to school, any school, grade school, high school, this is another world. Don't forget who their father was, Bob Kardashian. Don't forget the knife. Remember that one? Anyway, they live in a world you will never know. And then all of a sudden, it was the best, because anytime you can take advantage of people moving into the business, it was great during. Oh my God! Oh, during the during the nascent period of rock and roll, the British group, these poor bastards had come over here from England after World War II. They had nothing. They were so easy pickings. Blues. Remember Hammond? Was it Hammond? Who was the fellow who? What was the name of the guy who would drive around the country listening to all these things, sign these ignorant sharecroppers, take all their publishing rights, own these people? And then came the best. Rap, gangster rap, hip hop, Sugar Hill Gang was great. And then came this. Then you got a bunch of, I'm sorry, not everybody, but there were some who were inbred, not thugs. It's a different story. People who had absolutely no connection to the real world whatsoever, who possessed an ability to sing or rap or cadence in this inarticulate gibberish that makes no sense. People that you almost laughed at. Diamond teeth, chains, this, hats. I don't get it. A guy with a big clock. It's like, is this a joke? What is it? Remember, who was that guy? Flavor Flav. He walked around with like a sunbeam clock around his neck. Remember this guy? The other one too is hey, Run DMC. We wear Adidas and a chain and a Kangol hat. Who are these people? These are morons, cretins. But they were very, and they just, oh man, they were great. People who didn't have a pot to piss in. A lot of folks who never had, nobody had any education. I'm sorry, not all of them, but many of them did. And they were just, oh God, feed them Cristal and endless bevies of babes and this or whatever they call them. And oh God. You could sit back and say, we own these. I want you to go out just like the rat with the and go in and own them. What can you tell me? And they came back and reported, you're not going to believe this. Because there's always been, from the days of the Rat Pack to Fatty Arbuckle to Charlie Chaplin to Mary Pickford to Clara Bow, they were wild. Not like this. No. Then when West Coast came along, even better. Now you've got real criminals, hardened criminals, drug dealings, not so much east, not so much here, but drug dealing, Crips, Bloods, Suge Knight, Tupac, shooting each other. This is the greatest thing in the world. This is fantastic. Because me, being in the Intel division, said, that's the one I want. Get him. Who do we have here? Diddy, you're the one. You're our rat to cover in poison to go into the net. They'll trust you. Promise them anything. Here, let's make sure a couple really turn up. Let's do well. Diamonds, Jacob. Did you ever see Jacob? It's on 57th Street. The guy who, you know, the watches they were with the platinum and the just throwing crystal sports stars. This is even better. You get a sports, you get a running back. He's driving a Bugatti. He's got a closet. Now get this, a closet with sneakers. Now you can say, those are. No, this is another world. Walking around with chains and this is the best. I'm going ding, 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 ding. And I just lay my information on. Come on, Diddy, report back. You got the pictures? I got the pictures. Good. Who do we have? Oh, Diddy, this is good. Yeah, listen, we got something new for you. We're going to make you a billionaire. How's that? We're just going to call you a billionaire. How? What do you mean? How? We're going to call you a billionaire. Look at your account. See? Bam. We just go to put the button. Bam. You're a billionaire. Then I want you to go in there. I want you to do pictures with Obama. You think he'll know? He doesn't care because he trusts you. He thinks you're on the level. Oprah, get a picture of him. Jay-Z, Beyonce. Remember the pregnancy story? I'm going to let it stop right there. Remember those stories? No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. You can't believe this. You can't believe this. Keep going. And then every now and then, the guy who gets it all, who gets it right, Cat Williams, Monique, and others, they see it. Oh, and let me also tell you something too. You know where we really get people? Not only with very, very, very serious blackmail, is when you're able to tell people that so-and-so who appears to be Mr. Lothario is actually gay. If you think that these folks are open-minded, oh, no. If I say, come here, do me a favor, have a seat. Who are you? Diddy, fitty, diddy, doody, booty, doody. Okay, good, terrific. Mr. Is this you? This looks like a calculator. Is this you? Yeah, right here. Is that you? That's you, isn't it? Are you doing what I think you're doing? Yeah. Welcome to the club. You're working for me now. If this got out, do you know what would happen to your legions of stars, legions of fans, the babes, the chicks, the this? Oh. Mrs. L is going to be talking about the Menendez brothers tonight. Remember that one? Remember the Menendez brothers? Remember the boy bands? Remember what the Menendez father did? He was with boy bands. Remember this? It's how do I say this? It is a corruption, a vileness that you cannot believe. And to you, all you do is you say, you see, Diddy. Who's got the stuff? Who's got the files? Who's got the hard drives? Who? Especially with that guy. You never found out about that, did you? You never did. No, Nobody ever cared about that, did you? Nope. Understand that? You never cared about that, did you? Let me see what we got here. Let me see. President Grace and okay. Oh, how did George C. get that tequila deal? Well, don't forget who his I won't say boyfriend. His friend is Randy Gerber. Who's Randy Gerber married to? Cindy Crawford. Don't get me started with that one. One of my favorite things is when they say, well, that's impossible. He's married. Okay. All right. Andrew Hessing says, one of the biggest stars ever, EP hated his movies. He was told, you do them or you won't work, period. So much talent just sidelined. Interesting. Oh, that goes without saying. How about Elvis? He was owned by Colonel Tom. Anyway, was that movie with the calculator calculated? Very funny. George, you're a wit. George says Dom Luker did great analysis of Diddy on Kimmel. Yes, he did. Dom Luker, who's Italian, Domenico, is an absolute genius. He is a treasure. Dom Luker. He's the best. Okay? The best. All right, a couple of things. Number one, remember, immediately after this, 8:15, Mrs. L, Lynn's Warriors. You're going to go from here, and then go straight to Lynn's Warriors next. Okay? You got that? That's number one. Number two, October the 26th. October the 26th at the Cunning Room. In the description section of this is all the information you need. That's number one. Number two, preparewithlionel.com. Emergency food is self-explanatory. You don't have to sell, hey, do you think a carbon monoxide you want to, yeah. Don't you want to hear how a carbon monoxide, no. Oh, okay. What about a fire, smoke detector? Don't you want to hear how a smoke no. It makes sense. How about brakes on your, don't you know how I don't care how brakes work. Things make sense. Brakes, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, emergency food. Preparewithlionel.com. Pick the particular modality that works for you and do it. Preparewithlionel.com. And the best is our friends at mypillow.com. mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. What this man, I'm not even going to tell you the latest one about him. I read something that is so far-fetched. It doesn't, there's, in any event, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Please, dear friends, go there and spend all of your money, everything you've got. Just max out your credit cards only with the promo code Lionel. Ken Diazio says, investigate Jerry Joe's Bar Cuban. Yeah, when it comes to the sports industry. How about Jerry Jones with, who was it? With, he was talking, you heard the Jerry Jones, the latest one? Caught on tape? Oh, yeah, baby. Andrew Hessing, that's who I was talking about. Oh, yeah, Elvis. Don't get me started on Parker, absolute thief. $1 million a week on tour, he took half and all the souvenir revenue. Oh, Elvis didn't have a chance. Why? Another stupid kid from Tupelo, abused, made a fool of by the people who, and what they did. Oh, what they did to the black stars and the black talent in blues and R&B, it's disgusting. Especially when they sold their publishing rights. It's thievery. But what this is different. Don't forget trafficking. And the other biggie is, of course, extortion. Okay. So Andrew Hessing, Ken Diazio, thank you. George Keene, you were on fire tonight. Thank you. You were smoldering. Mark Wilson, DB, thank you for that. Lionel Clothing Company. You even got a phony one too. Lynn, that was a good one. George Keene, Raul Rodriguez, Five Below, thank you. Freedom. Freedom, yes. Let me see what we got here. Teresa Skinner, thank you. And Eric Heffelfinger. Bless your heart. Thank you so much for that. You are, without a doubt, the reason God made Oklahoma. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. We will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you immensely. Make sure, remember, we're leaving now at 8:15. You're going to go right over to Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Just go there. All right. And she's going to fill your brain from here to White Plains. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. That.